Hey class, this is Mr. Clark, and these are the video lecture notes for History 20, Chapter 2.2, Northeast African Civilization. Next slide. The unification of Egypt in approximately 3100 BCE evidenced the emergence of the old civilization in Northeast Africa. And here's a map showing Egypt as it existed then. Next slide. In Nubia, to the south of Egypt, Africans built another civilization with the kingdoms of Kerma and Kush. And here's some archaeological remains of one of those two civilizations. The people in each of these civilizations made good use of the agriculturally productive floodplains of the Nile River. The Nile, as shown here, was the lifeblood of Egyptian civilization. Next slide. The history of ancient Egypt is often divided into three periods: Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms. And here's a timeline showing those three kingdoms and how Egypt grew in size during those periods. Next slide. Ancient Egypt's history was recorded with their hieroglyphic language. And hieroglyphics are one of the earliest languages known to man. It's more of a pictograph, symbolic language than based on an alphabet. Next slide. The pyramids of Giza were built approximately 2600 BCE, and these are those pyramids near modern-day Cairo. Next slide. During the Middle Kingdom, the pharaohs moved their capital from the Old Kingdom capital of Thebes south to Lisht, halfway between Upper and Lower Egypt. And this is the remains of a collapsed pyramid in that ancient capital of Egypt. Next slide. The Middle Kingdom period ended with the conquest of Egypt by the Hyksos, and that occurred in approximately 1670 BCE. The Hyksos had chariots and bronze weapons, which gave them an advantage and allowed them to control Egypt for about 100 years until the Egyptians drove them out. Next slide. Pharaoh Akhenaten temporarily changed Egypt's religion to monotheism with the worship of one god, Aton, circa 1530 BCE during the New Kingdom. And this is a depiction on a wall of a tomb of Akhenaten and the sun god Aton. Next slide. The discovery of the tomb of New Kingdom Pharaoh Tutankhamun circa 1341 to 1323 BCE in 1922 is perhaps the most important archaeological find in history. This is archaeologist Howard Carter, and he's excavating the remains of Tutankhamun here. Next slide. Egypt and the kingdoms in Nubia influenced one another. They traded and intermittently claimed control over each other's territory. Next slide. While we may be more familiar with the pharaohs, pyramids, and religious beliefs of ancient Egypt, the Nubians made their own contributions as well. Next slide. Nubian civilization is known for the production of iron, Meroitic script, and unique architectural styles. And that's it for notes for chapter 2.2.